I took and I bought like a variety of those journals back.
My son-in-law bought his first truck. This was years old, must be midlife crisis.
Hey, is everybody ready? Shall we commence the fun here? Come to order. Meetings, begin.
Are you gonna close?
Yes, we are. I never get out of it. I try every week. Somebody catches me.
I didn't want to sit down, but I stand up again.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys know the drill. Shall we accept the minutes? We made one change. I think you all know that. Basically, she just added the specific amount of the expenditures. So I want that in there every time. You know that. Did the auditor ask you for your provide the minutes?
I don't know, they did send me a list today, it was 4 pages long, I didn't
Didn't
look
get a
at
chance.
it yet.
My guess is you will. That's
Okay.
why that's supposed to be in. Need a motion.
I motion to accept June 20th.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that takes us down to the finance report. Do you all have any questions? Finance report. There's only a couple things where I go over that. I'll just mention these. If you look at EMC, Insurance Fire Department, you see we're running closer to $8,000 than $5,000. Just under 3,700. Just the way it is. And the other thing I would point out is the electric bill, not the street lights. We're running closer to 40,000 than 3,000. So on those two items, at this moment, it appears the lower budget.
Do they have like huge increase or something?
Yeah.
That would have jacked that up like.
That was on the street lights.
No, I meant the electric company in general.
Oh,
They're
shut
like-
down.
1.2%,
Yeah, they did go up.
1.2% increase in your rate of what I think we pay.
Well, 1%, a whole lot, but these numbers are huge.
Yeah, you go from May to June.
We have,
318 to 1,033.
going ahead just a little bit, I'll wait, she has some new information for us on street lighting anyway, but just looking at, which one were you looking at there? Just our regular electric bill, or were you looking at street lights?
I saw the streetlights.
Yes.
May
Yeah,
was
and I think what
318.
happens there, and we'll get to that, we'll put that one off just a little bit. You do have information for us,
Yeah,
right?
information,
I'll let you
thank you.
handle that one.
On your EMC fire protection, maybe it's up at 80% of that.
I don't think it's 80%, I think it'd be more like 60%.
Well, no. Do you know
Yes,
how
yes,
that
yes,
works?
Yes, I do know how that works, and as near as I can tell, we are putting out $3,000 here, but we don't get back. The whole thing costs you about $9,000, as near as I can tell, and you're gonna have more information for us shortly on that.
Yes.
So just put that on hold for just a moment, and we will discuss that in greater detail. And we're gonna have a workshop on this afterwards, on the amount of the donation. But anyway, do you have any other questions, anything you have on the finance report before we accept this?
Did you do anything about, as far as this streetlights, did you do anything about cutting them off?
We did. If you
We
just
haven't
hold
followed
on
that.
just till we get through this, we will pick that up shortly. Again, we'll revisit these issues. But can you just accept these bills? For the month of June, I need a motion to accept the bills for $5,708.93. Unless there's some problems. Any problems?
Nope. I'll motion to accept.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Actually, we've been coming, actually, it's been coming down for the last couple of months, a little bit at a time.
What is that?
The actual total
oh,
operating
yes.
expenses,
Yes,
you
going
look right
from
across from
right,
April through up
765,
to
right.
now.
Right.
So,
Okay.
1,000 a month down, that, I consider that a blessing.
Yeah, that's good. We're gonna have some info here.
Is
Coming
June,
up.
does June reflect the fact of your turning on?
I don't think.
No,
No.
no.
That was
no.
probably that's probably I'm gonna guess that's a split.
Let me just, again, let's just hold off till we get down to management's update, all right? And we will revisit all of these things in more detail. That's what I'm about to do some of this. All right, this is also no surprise to you. We have the support for the homeowners rehabilitation program, where Northwest is the applicant, Northwest and Federal Home Loan Bank providing the money. It is sponsored by Central Pennsylvania Community Action. What they're going to do is they're going to pump about $160,000 into this community. It costs the Borough Council nothing, they just need our approval. They're going to rehabilitate 10 houses, $16,000 per house. They'll buy some of the supplies from, say, McGill's, other stuff maybe from Lucas's, so the money, and some of the contractors here will be able to bid on these jobs and they get that. So the money will flow here. There's no downside that I see, and people that are income eligible for this will have their house repaired and all these things like windows, furnaces siding, whatever, that'll be up to them.
Who would decide the 10 homes? Would that be,
They will apply, it has to be income eligible.
And
they'll go through?
Yes.
You'll have to fill out, you'll
Yes.
probably have to put like, your income and everything that way in there, and you'll probably go
Okay.
from there.
And some, I bet you get weatherization, for example, that are already involved in some of those programs, you're automatically going to be eligible for this. They don't have the grant, this won't go into effect until next year, but they need to know that Borough Council is behind this program. So I need a motion basically to say we're behind the homeowner rehabilitation program sponsored by Community Action.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to accept.
Second?
that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right.
That'd be a good program.
Very good.
Yeah, I think so too.
I just go back to
I have-
people who's gonna get left out of it.
Yes,
Because there will be.
unfortunately, and if this goes well, now they've done it in Kerwinsville, it went quite well. If it works well here, they may repeat the stuff again. I don't know, but right now they're trying to get money for 10 of these.
See if we can find somebody who wants to do the work.
Do what?
Do the part
The
for
park,
us.
yes. All right, that takes us down to the update on the flood project and the early intervention program. Just a quick question here. Anybody know who Jessica's employer is regarding the flood program? Anybody know?
Yes, Clearfield County, it's in.
Colport Borough Council.
I thought
Kirkville
it
Borough.
was
We
or
are her employer. I found that out. I had a teleconference with her. She's working-
Commissioners are,
Our side of the story is, there's been a bunch of hubbub about this stuff. As our employee, I don't, did she serve us well or didn't she? She's very, they basically said we can fire her if we want to. She's our employee. And my response was, she's highly competent, she can get money, she knows what she's doing. She's used to a different kind of board. My explanation was the previous board was hands-off, they gave her a free rein. I want to know where every cent comes from and where every cent goes, and she will be accountable to this board. That's how I left that. Now, if we're going to do anything further than this, we would have to do it in an executive session. I'm going to be blabbing about her in just a regular meeting. Whether she stays on as our employee, that's up to us. Now, there was a lot of said, there was a big meeting in Harrisburg or wherever the alphabet soup agencies meet. We weren't there. Jessica was there. Now, the state puts a lot of pressure on the county. They thought we were going to be done with this whole thing. Therefore, they wanted their money back from the county. The county has deep pockets. The county, in turn, would sue us. My response is, great, you sue us, you can win. We're essentially judgment-proof. There is no money. And they get that. There is no money. So they can't recover the $250,000 or whatever it is that they're looking for from us. The county's been very good to us, so we should try to be very good to the county. They want us, we're kind of being pushed to the early intervention program now. They may not all be bad. They heard that we were not participating, and they were mad as hell about that. So, the one that Ed came here.
yeah, I thought it was a
I thought we
good,
were all in agreement with that.
We were. I don't know where that came from. or not.
Seriously?
Yes, that's all smoothed over now. I have no idea where that misinformation came from. But they want us, and we'll explore that. you had a very good point. You just see what happens at the time, what it's gonna cost us, and what, but there are benefits. There'll be no more. I told her, the reason we were mad as hell is Jessica came to us and asked us for $15,000. I said that incurred the wrath of just about every board member here. So they got it, and that's when they told me she's your employee. So now we know. That's about all I have
I
on that,
never noted
unless.
that. I thought.
The only thing I
We
have
employ
on,
her, we.
I thought she was working for basically.
Well, she didn't represent us very well, and she conned me. If that happens again, I'll come to this board and I'll ask you to fire her. Now, you know what happened to me. I don't like that. You know, that's my own fault. I'm not blaming anybody, but I don't like when somebody tries to pull one on me. You saw. None of you felt she was responsive to my questions when she was here.
When
So-
she was here, I met with her outside, and there's no witness,
And that's not going to leave with us.
but she stated that she was accountable to
Well,
the county.
they told me she's our employee. They told me that. And that actually makes sense, that she's getting money for us, but then treat us like we're the employer here. And we'll change the rules now.
Accountability.
So
Yes,
when was she apparently hired by us, and what?
That 8 years ago, right? Is it?
I found that contract that we.
Yeah.
She gave us a proposal, and I can't remember what date it's in my office, but, we got a proposal, and she said how much she was going to charge and what she was going to do, and, you know, what we needed and what she saw that we needed, and she was approved. But I don't know what the date was.
Well, that's pretty much where it is.
And if
For the
that's the
moment-
case, then why would she be paid out of the,
Well, that's how she gets paid.
Yeah, I
She
understand
builds
that.
her own salary, and we don't pay her
but
our
it comes
operating
out of the
budget.
flood project fund, where's that
Yes.
money supposed to come from?
Yes, that's right. And so that's all proper. It's just the next time these contracts come due, I'm also going to watch. I don't like the idea of paying first and then hoping that we're reimbursed. So we'll talk about that. We may want to make a little bit of fuss there. Say you pay. I mean, some of these contractors, if they actually start building things, it could be $250,000 that they want us to put up front. I personally have a real problem that we have to all of you, however, how we handle that. But when the time comes, we should. And I said, we're going to be reviewing contracts. I'm not signing anything unless this board approves it.
I think you should have a conference with all the entities in one place.
Yeah, so
We've
no
had
one, so
that.
no one can say
They've
one
done
thing,
that, right.
and someone
We've
else
had
say
Right.
another thing.
But we've had that right
Right.
here at this table.
Yes,
I
yes.
believe that.
I'm
We did.
with you. I'm not inclined to go that route right now. I'm hoping.
But you need it.
Yeah.
But
When do we need
we
it?
sat right here,
When do we do?
and they literally told us in plain black words, they're gonna do it. And the bad part of the situation is that when we agreed to this, when the council agreed to this, the miners were in place.
You're still in place.
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
No, they told me it was, they
Well, they
were.
No,
told me
they're
that
not.
if they were in place, we wouldn't be having this discussion. There is no money, and that's why they're hitting on this borough, and this borough is not capable
And-
of putting up any money we
And the
want.
story of the situation was, PennDOT, received
DEP.
DEP come back in and resurveyed. And then
Survey
resurveyed again.
Right.
And now they want
We've
to do it
paid for the
again.
same
And
stuff
then-
over and over and
And
over.
then they handed the wrong map to the solicitor, and they were trying to acquire properties on Main Street that weren't involved.
Here's all I can say. Borough Council will not put up any money. And I made that very clear, and that was based on your comments at the meeting. We will not, and they're not asking. They're going to finance this 100%, but that is why they want us to join the early intervention program, because there's a 15% match can then come from somewhere else other than the county. So I'm not fighting them on that, on the early intervention program, but Kelvin has made some good points here. Let's just wait and see. And we're just about down to that now. There's no motion. I just wanted to give you, that's all the information I have on the flood project, other than what you already know.
I didn't know that she was already.
No, I knew nobody did, and that shouldn't happen either. We don't want that same thing to happen again, so we won't allow that to happen. That's our fault.
I think we spend a lot of time assuming things.
Yes.
without getting
Yes.
answers.
So no more assumptions. That's just, you know that old saying. Let's move on from there. This takes us down to management's update, and then we can have some more information we just asked. Did we get the motion that we need on the homeowners rehabilitation? Got all
Yes,
that?
yes.
All right, just want to make sure. All right, that takes us down. Go ahead, you want to handle the management update?
Where do you wanna start?
Start with LTAP, Bill, just in, how about in the order of
That
that?
one's, can go to
Just
Joe.
cut to the bottom line here. Tell me where you're at.
I've contacted Jason, I've contacted, well, Jason's the one that originally
Yes,
came up
go
with
ahead,
the
go ahead.
thing and everything. Of course, there was no fee
Well,
for him.
what's up with this guy? Does he want us to pay this or not? Is he backing off?
No.
He is not.
He is actually, he is an engineer, but he does not work for
How
Helltown.
did we get him? That's,
Well, I got this Jason recommended because he's good at this type of thing, and luckily there's another guy that was for Blaine Run that I never contacted him, but apparently he works off of grants. He gets a grant for it, then he works off of the grants.
all right, so this guy's, he's firm. He wants his
Yeah.
$900. And-
Yes.
And we say, last time we said no. How do you respond to that?
He'll work us however he has,
How would you
but cover whatever he can. I mean,
Did you tell him?
I mean, he did a good, I mean, for what he
Right.
did was a good job. I'm not
I know, he
disputing
told us
that
a lot
one
of
bit.
stuff. I'm not
Yes.
either, but we assumed we were getting someone
So
from
did I,
LTAP that was
so
free.
did I, and,
What do you want
I
from
learned
us
a
here?
lesson now, that never assume anything. Make sure
That's
you
what
get,
Barbie said, the
make sure
same
you,
thing.
make sure you get, well, you thought he would have, with something like that, you think he would have said something right
Yes.
up front, that way, and there was nothing said about it. or
I mean,
anything.
we do not have to pay this bill.
Well, if we ever probably wanted to use LTAP again,
But this isn't LTAP.
well, LTAP recommended this guy, so they would only probably take so far, and then that would be as far as you go. We benefited from LTAP in
I
the
know,
past.
I know, but LTAP,
So why doesn't LTAP pay the bill?
yes, yeah, there you go. They hold themselves out as a free service to municipalities.
And
That's what we thought
most
we
of
were
them
getting.
are, most of those guys are volunteer, really.
Well-
I know the ones that run the phone in Harrisburg, they're volunteer.
What are you asking of us, that we pay this bill?
I think we should pay it, I really do. Just to be in the future, you know.
How much work did he do? How many hours did he have in there?
I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at that.
You
It's
read
a
the
little,
work
that's a little
probably. I
bit
sent it to
stale,
you.
we sent everything out. He's the one that made,
He had quite a
he
work.
drawed
He
the
had
picture
quite a
up and everything.
Good.
I mean, he did a nice job on that and everything. And then he also come down through the, what needs done, and then the minimum of what we should do to
Why-
continue.
He's not willing to negotiate on this price?
Pretty much that. I mean, I can check again if you
Yeah,
want.
well,
I mean, I can check with
You
him
know,
again.
you can always say you have an intransigent voter. You say they won't yield. They're like you. You're like him, not you. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I can contact him again.
Let's see what,
though, and-
let me go through. What's this board think here? Kevin, Calvin, fire it off. Let's just go around the circle here, what your thoughts are.
In two aspects, but not for Joe, there's a mistake we made, the guy charges, I'm kind of content to.
Pay the bill.
I do.
Hey, Kevin?
Yeah, I been paying him, I just was like, what are you all done to me?
We
Wait,
pretty
wait, wait.
much have what he did. Reverend?
I'm not on council yet.
I know, but just like to hear what you'd have to say. Just-
I wouldn't pay it because he didn't give you a notice of his fees, he didn't tell, what was the scope of this whole project? I mean, he didn't give anything, we didn't do even an RFP.
Right? We did
And,
not.
I mean, a corporation doesn't do this. I don't like surprises in my own
Okay.
business, I don't do it.
I don't, Barbie? It's a tough one.
I'm with Reverend Spade. I
I'm-
mean, I'm really torn because I can see the point of paying him. However, when you're using a free entity like LTAP,
Yes.
and he says, oh, I have this guy and he can come and he can do this, you assume, again,
It's free.
that it's free
Right.
because you're
And
using
nobody
that free
told
firm.
us.
I mean, and that's exactly what should have happened. LTAP should have said,
This,
Um,
right.
look, we have this guy, but this is what it's gonna cost you. He's
Right.
not free. wheel,
I'm-
and that
yeah,
never happened.
I'm somewhere in between, I would pay him something, but not the 900.
I agree.
Question. Did we ask him if there was a charge? It's our obligation to ask that
See,
question.
he was recommended by that Jason from Altown.
But
He come up, and but I didn't, I had no clue that he was going to charge. I thought he was still connected with Altown, and he wasn't.
well, I feel if we did not ask that question, Well,
That's my
50-50
fault for not
situation.
asking too. I should have, I guess before you do anything, you make sure you ask.
Well, expect lesson learned, school hard knocks.
Yeah.
Things are gonna happen.
We're not, yeah, shit happens.
I mean,
So it's just-
I can contact me, I just
I,
made a note.
I
here.
make a motion to pay the bill and learn from our experience.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Yeah, wait a minute, I thought you were on the other side of this.
I'll second.
All right, all right. We have to vote on this now.
But
All right, how many of you, raise your hands if you want to pay this bill in full. Okay, they win. Bill gets paid. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Where does that take us now? Now we're over to credit card. That's you.
On credit cards. I talked to Tyler, told him, that we were interested in going forward with the credit card. We could talk to the one lady that's only there sometimes, but I don't remember her name, about it before you and I had talked
Yes,
to her.
yes.
And he said that he was gonna have paperwork drawn up, that he would have them out at the main area, and that when we did the deposit, we could pick them up.
Okay, not there.
No.
All right.
I tried to get in contact with him today, but obviously with the holiday, you can't
Good
get hold
enough.
of anybody this week.
Just do your best, keep plugging away. Then we're down to the pledge account.
Alright, what's the question on the pledge account?
Does it still exist or?
It
have you
is
moved
still
it?
existing, because I have a question about that, actually. Because we were going to use, you're where you have the bigger account and the smaller account, because you were gonna use the smaller account towards paving, would it make more sense to do that and then,
If you want to
get rid
use
of
it up,
it,
that's fine, that's
and then
fine.
get rid of it rather
That-
than like,
That's fine,
it just might be less paperwork?
good enough.
So that was.
I got you, and I know the issues you were having there with Mr. Winslow dying, and his name is on the account, other officers are no longer officers.
Yeah, it's,
That works for you?
yes. that
Any
works.
problem?
So we're just gonna draw that account zero and then.
Yes.
It's done.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
so it's the
Rather
same
than
thing.
closing it, moving
Because
money, and then.
we're going to do the paving here real quickly anyway, so.
Yes, we did get more paperwork for the paving today as well, so.
Good, so that's
That is
going to
moving-
happen.
That is going to happen, it's moving forward very nicely.
Great, just keep us posted on
Mhm.
that stuff. All right, that takes us to the fireman's workers' comp.
Oh, yes. I talked to Joe Keith today for about 45 minutes on the phone regarding this. He had been looking into kind of trying to figure out which of the EMC insurance was fire and which was us for workers' comp. The nearest him and I can figure, hold on 1 second, let me get to this. The workers' comp, which is listed on here, that is just us, which we already kind of knew.
Us.
The EMC insurance fire department, that's actually just your liability for things in the town. Where you're paying your, what he's figured out, what I kind of have to agree with him, what little bit I know on insurance, the fireman's insurance is paid through a different insurance, which is not EMC, which is the state workers insurance
SWIFT.
fund for the
But we
SWIFT.
don't have any bill going to them. I've asked you about
I'm
this
seeing
before.
that, yeah. And SWIFT, I did look into this because I knew this would be a question, comes out, last year, it came out to about 13,000. So what I'm assuming, well, what I know
Well, wait,
happened,
but where's the bill with this? Why doesn't it show up on, where's it on our finance
I'm
report?
not sure where it's on your finance report. I think what happened is the SWIFT, what I understood it was it went, that you had your EMC and then SWIFT was a branch of EMC.
No,
so
no,
It's
right,
not.
right.
And I think it's still in here with your fire department and your EMC. It's just some of that's gonna be SWIFT and some of it's gonna be,
So we can't break that down yet.
I
We're
can.
still,
but I will probably have it on the 18th, indefinitely. But I did talk to him also about when we are switching over to Teeter Group from Dublers. And he is working on that. They are telling him at Dublers that he cannot just pick up, because you know how one policy ended a little bit before the other policy?
yes.
They're
yeah.
telling him that he cannot pick up the policy that just ended. He has to pick them up both at the same exact
which is in November, right?
which is in November, which means.
What does he say to that?
He is filing a paper basically saying we cannot do that because we cannot go from now until November without workers' comp. Like, we can't, or whichever one it is that ran out first. We cannot go that long without one of our insurance policies for obvious reasons. So he is filing, kind of like strange circumstance papers, and he said he has to wait until he hears from them. But Dugler is saying that he cannot do that. He's saying that he should be
Right,
able
Dugler
to.
loses an account, he
Yeah.
loses commission.
So he's working on that. He was really helpful today when I talked to him. He really was. He knows what he's doing, but from what I gather, he's just being held up a little bit right now in dates, and he needs to file some extra paperwork.
See, I knew, we talked about this, the policy that we looked at, it said no workers' comp.
Yeah.
A big policy for Ubers. We have nothing from SWIFT, I wondered about that. SWIFT is a state workers' insurance
Sure.
fund.
Yeah, and
It's the one that's supposedly a little bit more expensive.
It is, which I thought, and that was my fault. I thought we still paid EMC, and then I thought SWIFT was like an
We will work
extension.
through
It was
this.
not.
All we can do is just keep forging ahead, we will work through all of this.
So now that we know that, that's, one more note to add for the budget for next year.
Okay, how,
The problem there is with this insurance, there's only two companies in the state of Pennsylvania that write it.
You mean
well,
Swift?
and run by.
Swift is one of them.
Yeah, and the other one is EMC.
Yeah, and he did say that if somebody from the fire hall was interested in talking to him about, SWIFT and what coverage they're getting.
He
that
doesn't
he's
like
more-
SWIFT, I remember he
No,
told me
he
that,
said that he would
right.
be more than willing to meet with the fire hall separately without the borough and just discuss some different options that they might be interested in getting involved in. That would lessen the pay on the borough, but, might help them with coverage.
Okay,
If there's jeopardy in this, why don't you get the insurance commission to mediate between the two agencies?
I'd rather just let him play this out, one way or another, we're gonna get out of this with the least amount of
But you don't wanna be,
battle.
we don't need to be harmed.
We've already been harmed, terribly so, that's why we're getting out of here.
But I mean, if there's a lapse in the policy.
Yes, that's not gonna happen, right, it's not gonna happen.
He's working on it. He's very, I told him, I said, we're concerned, we don't wanna be sitting here without insurance somewhere, and he said that he is aware of that, he is
And you're
working.
saying on the 18th, when we meet again,
I'll have
you're gonna
better.
have more information. You all know that, we're meeting on the 18th, that's our regular Wednesday for a workshop. All right, so there's not much more
I'm
you,
not sure if you're gonna have a fire company representative with that.
that may not be, let's just see what happens tonight after. The way I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting, and we're gonna go into workshop mode, and we're gonna discuss the contribution to the fire company. Is that okay with you?
I think we should discuss it in open meeting.
I don't want to make any votes or any decision. I want to give the fire company an opportunity to show up here on the 18th. We will discuss it in an open meeting in
Paul?
August.
Don't post a sleeping bear.
Don't what?
Post a sleeping bear. We have not had an increase since '05. They recognize our problem. And I'm telling you, the day I came back into town, I was jumped at the fire hall. What's the matter with the borough? I was totally unaware of the
Well,
situation.
here's the thing. This has been on hold for 20-some years. It's never been discussed. Getting the information we have was like pulling teeth.
We didn't talk to the right people.
Their own councilman didn't know. I asked councilman, I asked her. She thought it was a pass-through. You seem to be the only one that knows, and you weren't here. So I guess, if we don't review this, who should? Is this our job to review, to keep track of the borough?
Well, I can tell you right now that the fire company is mad and they're going to raise it if we continue pushing. And we can't afford it to be raised.
Hold on a minute.
There you
Whoa,
go.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Why?
First off, we're elected officials. It is our job to spend taxpayer money wisely. Now, if we don't know what the heck we're paying down there to the fire company, and I'm a fireman, okay? I'm not
Hold
against
on,
that at all.
Don't let this get too inflammatory. This is an inflammatory issue, so
I'm not saying don't pay them, we just want to know why we're paying them and what we're paying them.
Fire
That's it.
protection, fire protection. That's what we're doing. We're paying fire protection.
Who made this up?
Listen, Jack,
go ahead.
this is something that we said we were gonna discuss later on. We have went over this and over this, and I am all for the fire company, and if we have a dime to give them, I'm all for about giving them a dime.
But you can't take money and hide it from everybody and say, this is something we've been giving them for 20 years and nobody cared, when we can't even afford to go downtown, we can't even pay our own manager because we're trying to pay the people that they've been doing under the table for 20 years.
No, but
We're
it's
done
not-
with under the table.
Whoa, this has not been under the table. This
Where's
has
that
been-
on my budget thing, Jack?
It's been.
Show me on that budget thing, Jack. If we want to argue, let's argue correctly. You show me on this budget where it says I'm giving the fire company $7,000 a year and I'll shut my mouth.
Well,
You can't, because it's not there.
Well, it was on the budget before. It was
Well,
on the budget
it might have
before.
been 20 years ago, but
No,
it is
not
not
20
now.
years ago, it was.
Who's
All we want to
accountable
do is
the
find
fire
out
company?
why and
Hold on,
where
hold
it's
on,
going.
let's give Reverend Spade a chance.
Who's accountable at the fire company? Is Jack Lang?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I've talked to him, and he has no invitation yet. And
That's to be on the
he
18th.
is willing to do, to talk, discuss this. But he said, I didn't get any invitation.
He will.
Because I sit down there and tailgate and talk to them about it when they got the poker float.
Well, that, he just told me that on Sunday. Maybe he has a lapse of memory, I don't know. But I think
Well,
things should
he
be
will
in
be-
writing,
Well-
send him a letter, send a letter of
Here's
request.
the thing, we have to review our budget every year. We have to pass an ordinance saying what our taxes are gonna be every year. We review every other item on this budget. Is there some reason we shouldn't review that item?
Does the fire company have a budget? Can
I
we
would
see that
think-
budget?
Yes.
He brings a statement up every January.
Okay.
And that's all.
I wasn't
All we
aware of
want to
it.
say it's going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not
We just
saying
wanna know
we're not
where it
paying.
comes
Number one, there's no law that
We just
you
wanna
show,
know.
hold on one more second. You show me a law that says we have to give them $7,000. You refer to the Borough Code. You put that up here.
We have two obligations.
Show me in writing. You say these things all the time, Jack, and they prove not to be true.
Paul,
So I
I'm
want to
tired
see
of
it
you
in
putting
writing.
me down in this
Well, and
meeting.
I'm tired of you lying to me.
I'm
at
not
these
lying
meetings.
to you.
You've lied
I'm telling you the
repeatedly
truth.
on these meetings. And I'm gonna call you on it. You're gonna produce this stuff in writing. You show me in the Borough Code. Now, I read the Borough Code. We are allowed to make a donation. We are not required. We are required to pay the, what the heck? Workers' comp and foreign fire insurance that is given to us. Now, I also had another conversation with the Auditor General about this, and that is why we get foreign fire insurance to alleviate some of the pain on these little municipalities. So you show me if somebody could show me that this is the law, we will do it. I've seen no evidence that this is the law. None. So you show me that. Show me the Borough Code, show me anywhere that we have to give them. And how did they come by $7,000? Where'd that number come from? Why 7?
Yeah, that's kind of like an odd number.
Is it prorated with all the jurisdictions?
That was one of the questions I asked about.
Okay.
We'll call some.
Every jurisdiction pays fire protection. And ours is 7,500 for the year.
7,000, isn't it?
No, it's 3750, 3750.
Well, that's
$750 twice a year, is that
Right,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack.
And Batavia Township pays, and White Township pays.
What do they pay?
I don't know.
Well, that's why we need some kind of a document like this from the fire company, if they will do it. Maybe they don't wanna tell us what,
I think they're legally obligated to tell us.
I would
It's
think
also,
so.
yes.
yeah. Accountability is the big issue.
Yes.
And this, besides the workman's compensation, it goes by the number of people they service in the community. Now, first off, I don't think there's 592 people in Coalport, but that was
There
the
are
census.
492.
492.
492 is the census.
Well, then that's down because it was 592. So anyways, that's how they come up with.
Well, here's the way Borough Council will now come up with that figure for that, I call it a donation, is how I see it. And in my mind, if we don't say who's to provide that money, whose job is it? Is it our job or isn't our job to allocate funds? Again, we're allowed to give them money. As far as I can see, we're not required.
Do you know what our the borough or the township pays them yearly? Do they pay the same amount we do to the, or I'm sorry.
No, Arvona gets so much from Victoria Township also.
And
They
Chess
cover a
Township.
little bit, And Chess Township.
Right.
And Glen Hope would get so much from Victoria Township.
Is this in addition to foreign fire insurance, or are you talking
In
foreign fire?
addition.
In addition to, and And we cover, is it all of White Township?
All White.
We have all of White Township.
Let's get this information for the 18th. That's what you want, right? You'd like to see.
Well, I would encourage somebody to make a motion to send a letter to Jack Lang, officially.
To
And
invite him on the 18th.
to invite him on the 18th,
I will-
so that,
I make a motion, we send Jack Lang a letter to invite him on the 18th to our workshop to discuss this issue.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
make sure the letter says the scope of what you're looking for, so that he can bring,
Like I say, make
Paper.
sure that he's clear of what he will need, that he don't want a surprise either.
that's
No, we
right.
don't want any
Let's ask him.
surprises here. No
Have
surprises.
his-
Make sure that he
Yes.
has the paperwork that he needs, that what, you kinda have to give him, more or less out on the table, what he's gonna have to bring to show us, like what other townships, that way, what they.
Well, that'd be
could
one
want
thing,
now.
right there, and I'd like to see if this is the law, show me. That's all I wanna see is it, and I wouldn't know what law it is. I looked through the Borough Code, there's nothing that says we're required. And I've asked all of you to look as well in the email.
So the only thing that we are required is to pay the compensation insurance for.
And we move foreign fire insurance along. It's basically a pass-through. We get $2,000 from the state, and we move that right on to the fire company. Whatever we get,
But
penny,
I
dollar
also
for
want
dollar.
to make a point, as being part of the fire company, I know that funds are tight and grants are hard to come by. And in that respect, I mean, I know that the fire company sends out letters every year asking for donation. I don't know if they do it twice a year or just once a year, asking for donation. Well, they're struggling too, and they provide a very great service to us.
Yeah, nobody's
And,
not,
exactly, and I don't want anybody to misinterpret, you know, what I said to Jack is if I'm closing all doors to giving them anything, because I'm not, and none of us sitting at this table is. And I think that's a point that has to be well known. We're not against the fire company, but we are elected officials. And we have to spend money wisely, because just like a struggling fire company, we're struggling too.
struggling borough.
Both of us are struggling.
Accountability is always right. Accountability.
You guys know what was in the letter?
Yeah,
Oh.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And you've seen, you know the guy, right? You can reinforce this
We have
further,
something
right?
that's not on the agenda that we should put on,
What's that?
about hiring a new worker.
Okay. What do you, go ahead.
What'd you say?
I'm tired.
Well, yeah, we're going down to one employee, and we wanna hire another employee.
It's up to you two,
Okay.
right?
We're gonna have to get
We've
together
all-
with us so we can do,
An interview.
you already done your.
With this guy,
Most
right?
of it, I haven't put all my
Yeah.
own words and pedals.
Well, when you, let us know when you have
You just
some time
do-
that you can, would an evening be better?
Do you restrict our present worker and hours?
Our present worker?
Well,
Yeah, 30
30.
yes,
30 hours.
Can you increase his hours, so?
You
to
don't
take
take
up-
up more hours, he's tired now.
I know he's working, he wants to.
Especially with-
Yeah,
especially
yeah, You'll get somebody on board here in another month or so, right? How long would you estimate to have
I
somebody on
hope
board?
it's not,
Yeah,
another
we gotta
month,
get- we gotta
we're
get
going
sooner than
90%
that.
of our
Yeah.
our work summer.
Have we tried,
15th, the day afterwards.
have we tried for any help from the prisoners, or we?
We've contacted the prison.
5 different places.
Well, how about county jail? How about down to county jail?
I don't know if they,
They have before.
will they actually bring them
I
up?
talked to Glad.
I know somebody had used to pick them up who had them at Kerbsville Lake in the spring. Now, he was, an employee of the lake.
Yeah,
But,
I would,
I know,
I
we
can't
can't run down there.
Clearfield to pick somebody up to bring
Yeah,
them
we
up to
can't
work
do
every
that.
day.
I
On
think
a
that's
daily
on,
basis.
that's on your responsibility, you get on the time of work release and you pick him as the,
Yeah.
and then it's your
Well, we
problem
got
to
an
watch.
authority here. We got a guy that knows.
Then it's your responsibility to watch him, so therefore if he escapes, it's also your responsibility.
And
You don't want
when they
that.
come from when they come from house jail, they have somebody already
They have a
with them.
supervisor
Yeah.
that's
Usually,
responsible for
usually
it.
people
Well,
is pretty close to getting out of it.
Anyway,
They know.
what's your time frame here? Right, what can we do?
The sooner the better, really.
It's up to you, right? You've got one
Gotta
app.
work that out. It was run the second time, nobody else applied,
You
so.
do that. That's all yours. You tell us what the decision was, and we'll back it.
Well, just give me an idea, shoot me an email, call or something, let me know whenever we can get up to an interview.
I'm leaving for Nebraska Wednesday night. I am free all day Wednesday. I realize it's the 4th of July, but if you would like to do something on that Wednesday, I would be more than happy to. I won't be back to New York until 5 o'clock at night. Now, I can at night, I am up all day.
I'll let you guys.
Okay.
Well, you may not have to. I think we know what we're talking about.
Just
All right,
point.
I'm gonna let you guys work that out another
Okay,
time.
all right.
Yeah, that takes us to streetlights,
Oh,
redevelopment.
This was fun. So you've been asking about the streetlights, and you know the cost has been going up. So sat down with Pedelec Bill, and you had voted obviously to shut off some of the lights to see if that brought the bill down. It's not going to bring your bill down really, because those aren't the lights that are giving us problems. It's the ones on the wood poles that are running us up so high.
Mary?
What, there's so
56.
many 70 and so many 100.
There's 56 lights that are still on the wood poles that are the really, really high ones. Those are the ones that are expensive. So shutting those ones off really isn't gonna, I mean, it'll save you money, but it's not really gonna do
Right,
a
we
lot.
still, and what is that, Bill? It's 600 and some bucks every time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What is it? You have one in
It's,
front of
I
you?
don't have the one in front of me.
I want to
just
say,
went
it's
back.
either 630 or 680.
Yeah.
It's a
Roughly.
lot.
It's
For-
your larger
Yeah,
Pedelec bill.
per light, it only comes out to like 12 bucks a light per month, I think.
Yeah.
But there are
And
57
what
lights.
doesn't make any sense to me is, why are they so high now? Because you have so much more daylight now than you do in the winter.
Well, those lights are on it's a $12 fee per month,
Yeah, it
regardless of
doesn't
how
matter.
much they
How long
use.
they're on. That
Yes,
doesn't
so they're
make
not
sense.
metered, they're not metered, you just pay
Yeah.
it.
You pay a
I
flat
think
fee.
they're
Big
more
light fee,
expensive.
yes, those big lights. Now, here's the thing, I looked at the old audits going back 2011 and 12. You just don't know what's accurate here, what's right, and what isn't. They had to run one year 2,000, another year 3,000, which is still a considerable difference from year to year. But how do you get from 3,000 to, well, what's that, 8,400 or something, 8,000?
9.
9,000?
It's up to 9.
Just those lights, just those overhead lights.
No, that's all the lights,
And I
yeah.
did a personal example.
Yeah.
I have a garage and basically all I'm paying for is the meter. I mean, I very seldom use electricity in it. $9 a month. It went to $12 a month, it is now $18 a month.
Wow.
So if you
Well,
convert these lights, these 56 lights to LED quality, you still have to pay the $12?
I would think so, because
Yes.
there's no meter on them. It's just a flat, and for every pole out there that has a light on it, we pay, I think I did the math crudely, I think it was like $12.50 a light.
There was so many that
I
were
didn't
70-watt sodium.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a difference though per
Other
pole.
ones
It
were
didn't,
100. No, it wasn't a
didn't
whole lot
save
difference
you
between
anything. In
100
fact,
and
the
70.
70s might have, if you had a bill there, it might even actually be higher.
So basically what they've done is they've increased the price per light.
Yes.
Because I can remember we were paying $659 for everything before we put Main Street in.
Yeah, that's the part from looking at the audit, I can't explain that. I don't understand the increase. I don't know what to do other, you fired them off an email.
Yeah, I did fire up an email asking them if our tax exempt status was good on streetlights also, and they said, I don't know, call the IRS.
I would say that it is, it's a sales tax.
That's-
It's $38.
I don't know how the
which is
IRS
so-
would know, but
Yes,
that
they
was the
would.
response that I got.
You
So
call Alton.
I will have to call the IRS at some point and ask them if we are tax exempt on electricity.
Well, this,
That
It
would
would
be
be the
the
Pennsylvania,
state, that
yes.
would be the IRS, it would be
right,
federal,
Pennsylvania
the state.
IRS, that's right.
That'd be state.
Well, to get that exemption,
It's state,
It's a state
it's
exempt.
state.
So that is something I can look
I
into,
would-
but honestly,
I
even
would
the
s-
taxes, I don't think is really gonna help you a
Well,
lot.
no, it's not, it's roughly $40 a month that we would save on that. Oh, but $40 is $40.
Right.
That's, you know, over,
40 times 12.
yeah, about $480 or something.
Yeah.
So I'd look into that.
Yeah, that's something we can look into. That's your
So
update on
then,
street
at
lights.
least we've identified the problem. now, we still, we complain we can't afford
What do we do about it?
$9,000. Right, do we shut off, have them turn off some of these lights?
Or are they the only ones who can turn them off? You can shut down on Main Street.
No, we can't do that. No, we
Right.
have to call them and say, we don't want this light on Forest Street.
Yeah, so we're
We're
gonna
not
take
gonna pay
much
that.
into their.
So, yeah, so you gotta get it from 57 down to 27 or something, you know what I mean?
And who knows how quick you're gonna do that when they find out we're taking money out of it.
Yeah, I don't know how
I
long
thought
it'll
some
take,
of the
but
property owners paid for some of those.
some of them do.
I
Sean
know,
Fry
John
pays
Fine
for
and
one.
Frank
Um,
Hopnick, they
Yeah, they
share
split,
something.
they have one here on a half block in between, and they share the cost of it.
Because I thought Mr. Lang said that he paid for the one out back of our building.
Probably if there's one back there, he might have, is it in between blocks?
It's a
Oh, if it's on
garage.
the garage, yeah, that's usually your own if you put it on a garage.
But that is an option. I don't even know if the number is right. Should we take an inventory to count?
That's something well,
We-
I
I'll
can
do
take what
that.
they have and just get a rough count on it, go
Yeah,
around and count.
That's probably right, but, so then we have to decide, do we maintain the status quo and just leave them alone? Do we do an assessment, and say we don't need some of these?
Why don't we talk to property owners to see if they would be willing to sponsor having
like
the lights in front of their residence or business or whatever, and give them the option to pay the fee for it, and then take it from there. Don't take it from there. Don't start shutting lights off without seeing if somebody.
One
Well,
by my
hey.
garage on Fourth Street, you can turn it off. I don't
Well,
care.
that's how there's one on Oak Street. Shut off. Just-
Messing lights,
I have my own.
both the lights on the corner of Mill Street and Main are off. I would make suggestion to turn one on in front of the bright spot. So if you watch up there at night, that's awful dark right there.
But I guess that's something we don't have an answer for here right now. Think about that.
Well,
That's
how do
custom.
they determine $12? Is it
I
the
have-
sodium lights burn so much? What
I
if we
don't-
ask them, if we convert those to LEDs, would our rate go down?
They do,
That's-
they
that's over
do a
8,000.
conversion. They do a
8,400 or something like that?
$8,064 a year we're paying for those
56 lights, right.
Are we
That's-
sure that we have 56 lights? Or we just
No, we're not
That's
sure.
what they're
That's
charging
what
us
they
for.
tell us. That's what
we're
Pedelec
gonna
is telling
go
us, that
grab
they're
after
charging
you do a
us for.
physical count.
Because you're like, some people have mentioned here about knowing that, like Mr. Fry's paying for it.
Yes,
No, we count lights and that's 56. And
right.
they're getting a-
Now,
They're getting a
twice,
fee, you know,
right,
they're getting a fee from Mr. Fry and we're
get
getting
one from
a
us.
fee.
We don't know that.
Okay, so we're gonna have to see how many,
We could all help out with counting. I could count the ones in my neighborhood, you and yours, split it up.
Well, I think if we do that, though, somebody might
Double count.
Yeah, obviously, we don't have that. That'll be something, again, think about it. We've identified the problem, we haven't solved the
We just shut off our own lights,
Do you
basically.
problem. Yeah,
You have the count of how many 70 and how many,
I do over at my house. but it's
okay,
already-
I'll try to,
There's less.
it's right on the bill.
Yeah.
I'll try to get that
There's
before
no,
we leave.
yeah, it doesn't work out the way you think it does. All right, let's, are we done with streetlights for the moment? I don't think
Yeah,
there's any
I don't have
resolution here
anything
right
else
now, but
really
we,
to tell
we
you.
need to revisit this issue. Kevin, we done with streetlights for the moment? I have nothing, we'll revisit it. And so the next thing, what's the update on the audit?
They did send an email today with, like I said, it's about 4 pages of the stuff they need and how they need it. 'Cause some stuff they need digital, some stuff they need paper. So this week, I will get that all gathered up. They said as soon as I had it, just to call down, tell them I'm gonna send somebody for it.
Okay.
So this week, I will work on getting all the stuff gathered that they need, make sure we have it all. Obviously, they're asking for a lot more than
The
our
other guy,
previous
right,
auditor
right.
did,
This is gonna
but
be very thorough.
that's fine. So we will get that stuff all together for them, and we'll get that sent, I'll get that taken care of sometime this week. I don't know if they'll pick it up this week, but I'll get it all together and let them know.
Is there anything else?
I got the adjustment on the light that was hit down there by Debbie Baby's beauty salon. I sent what the new pole would cost, and he's get the check? Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and order that pole, because it takes roughly 14 weeks to get that pole.
That's
So,
fine.
and then we'll go with, Dixon Electric about installing it, because I already told them that we really don't wanna get into installing poles that way.
Right. Any other business?
The other thing is, Caleb with Quaker Sales, we've been playing phone tag. He needs some information, and as soon as we connect, he tried calling me while I was mowing grass today. Of course, I didn't.
This is the paving.
Yes, yes. And we've a couple little things we gotta iron out, and we'll be probably pretty good to go. I think he's trying to get me a final date is what's going on right now.
What are you looking at, your end of the month, end of July?
He was looking at the end of this month, is basically the first week of August is what he's looking at. He's got a loop he's doing like in the area. It's gonna be in Burnside and a couple other places, and I think they're just trying to complete a loop, so that they're, and probably heading like back home that way.
Can you fire us off a weekly email? We talked about that.
Yeah.
Just an update, let us
Yes.
know what's happening there, all right? That way we know. Anything else?
That's basically, other than, like I said, if you want to see any difference in lights, you're gonna have to give it a month.
Oh, yeah, just
At least a month.
leave them,
I
fix the
will
one that
put,
Jack said.
I'm already down here for the Kia Light building, I'll put, fuse back in that one there, and we'll put that side.
We already know that won't solve our problem, so think on the light problem. We will revisit it. It's either maintain the status quo and pay the money, or figure out how to get creative.
Mary Sue had somebody that we were to talk to, another individual that supposedly could help us with this problem, that I've never got a phone number, so I'll see if I can get a phone number, to get a hold of them, maybe they have a solution or something. You think if they went with an LED light, they're gonna use less electricity, they should be able to save us.
That'd be the thing, let's ask them to solve this problem for us.
Yeah, I
What can we
mean-
do to bring this cost of 56 lights down?
Other than
Manage the
roughly,
level.
other than to actually, because they have to take their lights and turn their lights off, they're, of course, it's a small town,
Right.
they're not gonna care, but eventually,
Hey,
they're gonna lose
ask
some
them
money.
that question, ask them if they can solve the problem. We need to get that down, it's too much. Is there any other business? Do you have anything, Joe? Any other?
You wanna read that?
Go ahead, you read
You
it.
want me to read it?
Yeah.
The front page is just a concern citizen form, just says the date of this meeting, and he signed it, but he's independent account, so it's not really, I need to read all of it. Then the actual complaint says, at the June 4th regular Colport Council meeting, President Paul Zubich made disturbing comments against many of the present seated council members and former council members of being completely incompetent pertaining to the flood project. Too bad President Zubich didn't care enough to research the history of this project from its start to present. The president's remarks are totally unacceptable, insulting, and embarrassing to the integrity of these fine counselors. The president stated at this meeting he signed an extension agreement, not having a clue what it was, what degree of being competent does this indicate. Councilor Roop and myself had a meeting at Solicitor Repak's office, presented the borough's population on the flood project. The project was a realty in 2007, but at this time, not at all. Solicitor Repak agreed 100% and stated he would handle this issue. There's also a clip from
Yes.
newspaper this month, and then there is a budget here as well, if you want to look at that.
What budget?
There's a small budget right here on the back.
Project total, almost $6 million. Borough funding, $290,000. Yeah, this is all very interesting. Where did we get this information?
This was at the beginning of the flood project.
Why did
Every
not
year,
the borough
agreements.
councilors have this?
I don't have a clue. Should have.
Yeah, we asked, that's what we tried to find out, all these things, how much we owed here.
This is on the borough's side, funding. That ARC grant, we received $145,000, no cents. That was 50%.
Did the
Growing
borough
green-
council approve these things?
Yes. Growing Greater, $123,000, no cents, it's 42.4%. Old Ward Borough would be putting up a security of $22,000, which was 7.6%. That comes to 100% of the $290,000. This is why I was disturbed about some of this. Is, you made the statement that we agreed to a lot of things without the ability to pay. We had ours in place, Paul. Our funding was in place. Yes,
Where is it?
it was spent down.
You know, they keep coming. She was here asking us for $15,000.
As the years went, every price escalated. One major project that we done, we moved storage and water, and it was a way override from Deal Construction. You
Or it
remember
was
that?
paid twice for the same thing is what happened.
No,
No,
That's
no,
what we were told.
no.
the price just escalated through the years.
I just heard that, in fact, in a
Well, that's-
phone conference with the county just the other day, and heard it from Jessica as well. The engineering charges alone were 50% on this project, when normally they would be 15%.
Can you believe?
Well, that's the problem. The thing is now, we're trying to get out of the mess where they want more money from us than we
Exactly.
can possibly
It was like
pony up,
buying
so
a
it
car,
has to
And
end.
then they wanted to put accessories to it.
You know, they tell us,
In the very beginning, this was the borough's side.
well, what they're telling us is you're getting this great $6 million levy for $1 million. $1 million. But when you don't have $1 million, it's an impossible figure for us.
And at that time, the cap on this, it was $5,740,000, up to $5,800,000. That was the cap. Andy Moline sat right here in a meeting, and I asked him personally, I said, now, through the years, everything is escalated, prices sky high, whatever. I said, what if you can't meet this? He said, we'll go to general service and get the money. That's what he said.
Well, I guess if they can get it somewhere, we can't contribute.
No.
We simply cannot, and I won't.
I think, don't quote me on any of this, I think the DEP did come back and they said that there was a grant, it was a matching grant for, what, $150,000 or something we could get into? Do you recall any of that?
Well, this one was 100,000, and she wanted 15%, that's $15,000. I said, even if we had
There's no matching grant
$15,000,
here.
we wouldn't use it for that.
And at the meeting, Councilman Roop and I went to Ron Raypack's office. He said that this project would go if DEP would pick up the rest of it, and he didn't see any why he wouldn't do this. No more financial funding from Colport Borough at all.
Right, that's where we're
DEP
at
was
now.
doing it.
No funding from Colport Borough.
That
We
was,
just
that was
refuse.
his line, and,
So they're on their own now. We will be stuck with the maintenance cost if it's ever built. I'm not optimistic that it will be.
well, if it does, you can look there, that under the original, the,
7,000,
Oh,
the
yeah.
original one got it down to 4, wasn't it?
well,
7,500 original down to 4.
4.
our borough security went from 22,000 down to 16,500. And the O and M from 7,500, it was reduced to 4,000. This was per Jake Kernotzik.
Yeah.
He signed that, we agreed and he reduced $4,000 more on the
That's-
budget.
Those are two different guys to talk to, is Jake and Andy, they're just like
Apparently,
night and day.
what I'm understanding, Andy isn't in the driver's seat anymore.
No, really, I didn't know that either.
Mr. Hill was temporary.
Right. Probably you know more about it than I, because you've been dabbling in this.
Well, yeah, off the cuff. What the problem is tonight, you're telling me something contrary to what they told me. They told me that DGS 18214 is still active, and you're saying that it's been
They didn't say anything
eliminated.
about
The title money is still in place.
All they told me, Obviously, there's no money, that's why Jessica was here asking us for money. Because she can't get that 15% match anywhere else, and she's not getting it from us.
Would DG, or the Department of General Services?
Right, well, the county's going to pick up the full tab now,
Yeah,
is what's going to happen. If it goes forward, they're going to do it, and we're not. And so I won't get in their way. You know, but they're being blackmailed into doing it. I'm not sure they're supportive of the program. If
well, then they
stop-
must be in realization that the title, the bill is still in place, and the money must be there, or why would the county want to assume anything?
Well, I don't know if they want to assume anything. Here's what happens to the county. If this whole thing stops, the state says, we want $290,000 from you. And they don't want to pay that kind of money. So apparently they feel it's cheaper just to keep forging ahead. Maybe they secretly hope it will die too. I don't know.
I don't know why all the other engineering, when DEP, Waterways and Engineering, is an engineering firm, and they have already done multiple reviews over this whole issue, and the only thing that they're waiting for is this one thing left, and that's that archaeological
Well, that's been
study.
done.
The
They
dig,
want-
yeah.
That doesn't satisfy them apparently, right?
That was the last thing that Mr. Hill, Douglas Hill, I believe his name was, but he was only temporary. I don't know who's in place now. That was 5 months ago. I sent a letter to the mayor of what the email was. So there's evidence, you know, and he went right down the line, everything.
Well,
He
if-
said, we're ready to go.
I
Then
got the archaeological dig from BCI and presented it, and it wasn't good enough.
No, they had,
Well,
But that archaeological dig has been done I don't know how many times.
Right. We're not standing in the way, Reverend, if they have
And the
the
ground
money-
has not changed any. I mean, we're looking at things happening years ago, other than, more dirt on top of it.
If they have the money, they can knock themselves out. This council will do nothing to obstruct them. But don't ask
you're
us
the
for any
pivot-
money.
But this council is the pivot point, and I really strongly urge you to have a summit and call the county and DEP, Waterways and Engineering, have them all back at the table again. This is a new council.
Let them work it out.
Yeah.
Again, let them. They don't need us.
They
We're
don't
not
talk
putting
to
up
one
any
another.
money.
I
do
found
we
that
care?
out.
None of
Do we
us
care?
here are
Do we care?
against the project going in at all, but we just can't pay for it. So, you wanna come in, you wanna
Agreeable.
put the project in, knock yourself out, you have full support of council, just don't send us a bill.
Yeah, therefore you don't need us,
Well,
right?
I have been against this from day one, and I'm still against it.
Okay,
As Mr. Spade.
I know, that was the dragging the feet at the very beginning.
but is that because of how much money it costs?
Emeritus President Nevlin was against it, and there was several. And I don't know how we got it through, by the grace of God, we got it through.
I'm really confused then, Mr. Spade, and I really am, because every time I hear how negative we were towards this program,
Yeah.
but yet,
Here it is.
here it
20
is.
years later, it's
We got signatures with Mr. Nevlin's name on it saying that the Coolport Borough will be responsible for anything that happens from this point on, and we'll pay any of the bills.
I got on council.
But you're telling me that
only-
we've had votes and everybody voted no. Now, how do you vote no and get something through the,
I tricked him. No, I didn't trick him. No,
and that's what this is all about, and I really need to apologize to you for getting loud. But I've only been here for 4 months, and every month, for the first 3 months, we worked every Wednesday, once a month on Mondays, to try and figure out what this budget even was. And then, even after 4 months, come up and still be able to look at it and say there's things that we're paying out that's not on it.
That's right.
And so that kind of burns me. It's not your fault. And I understand you sticking up for the fire company, which you should. I'm just saying that there's been things here that seem to me, and I'm only 56, so I haven't seen it all yet, all right, that has been going on for years. Not just 10, 15, 20, but years. And nobody even has a clue, except for I can remember when, or Joe Schmo from down the street that used to live here was the one that voted on that. Well, there's 7 of us, so 4 have to say yes before you can even do it. I'm just a little confused on how this worked years ago.
Talbot, The last 3 years I've not worked on the budget. Up before that, the fire company managed $7,500 was listed.
And
How
I do
about down
remember
here?
it being listed, I
I
know
don't know
it
about down
was.
your word a
Yes.
bit. I'm just
Yes.
saying that, you know,
Am I correct?
and people were
It was
getting,
listed.
people, since we're talking about it, people are getting upset, they're taking it the wrong way. There has not been anybody on this council that said we're taking away the fire company's money. What we said was, before we vote this in for this year, we'd like to know where it goes and where they come up with the amount of money that they're asking for.
Amen.
You know, and as soon as people argue with you about things like that, Jack, and you know it for yourself, if you come at me a ball of fire because I want to know what you're doing with the money, it seems to me right away quick, maybe you're not supposed to have that money. And
Well,
that's not what we're saying here. People are getting totally, you know, it's that thing where you form up a line, there's 10 of us, and by the time you get to the 10th guy, Jack never even left the building. Okay? and as small as Goldport is, you can already see how this is turned around. I mean, and it's only us sitting here trying to discuss, as best we can, things that have started years ago, trying to figure out where it makes sense, why it's getting taken out, and trying to rectify things to where when people do walk up to us a few years from now, I can hand them a piece of paper and say, this is where it all went.
Well,
But
this should
even
be
with the
simple
flood
enough.
project, we asked about money and paperwork for the flood project, and you know what they brought me out when I said I wanted to see what goes on? 2 totes, 2 by 2 by 2, stacked on top, clear full of paper. Now that was the clerical way of doing things back then. Now how, and
No, that-
I apologize if
it
Mr.
wasn't
Neville got
even that
offended, but
nice.
how else would you think when you're trying to discuss
Why-
these
why
things?
should I be offended?
Well, with the letter and stuff, sir, and I, you know, but not
I was only one of 7 counselors.
But this is what we're handed to for records. Who signed what and for what money and what are we giving away? And they brought me out because I was willing to check on it. And they brought me out 2 totes, completely stacked full you couldn't get the lids on, and said, this is it. Now this is how we handled our paperwork back then. How could you even argue with a lady like Jessica when she comes in with a folder and starts ripping off things and won't even give you numbers when the only thing we could show was 2 totes clear roll paper.
But it is,
But you see where I'm coming from.
it's sorted and it's good, because we just.
And
took a
you
few-
said you were going to review some of it
Yeah.
to see where was what, because you've got signatures on there from people, and like I said, I keep hearing the word no, we didn't vote on that, we didn't vote on that, but there were signatures on pieces of paper that said, by all means, have at it. How do we justify that years down the road, or even next year when the flood project comes to us again and says, hey, we can do this now back in, 2024, if you're willing to come up with $8,000. Now, why in the world would we even consider that when this has all started back in 1995 and they haven't done nothing but move 4 sewer drains and 3 telephone poles and it's cost us $100 and some thousand.
We got 2 bridges changed.
Yeah, but that bridge has nothing to, we got it changed, but that,
It has to
that
be-
has no money for us.
No, but it
Okay.
had to be done.
I mean,
It
that
wasn't
railroad
part of
bridge
this.
was a-
We got railroad bridge,
Yes,
you know?
we got the
No.
railroad bridge.
No, that was PennDOT.
And that was all PennDOT. But where's this money? Justify
But
that.
see, there's the thing, I'll tell you, I have it all documented, that these agencies don't talk to one another. That's why I'm saying, let's have a summit.
Well, my solution is let them have a summit.
Yeah,
Let
but
them do whatever they want.
they won't talk to one another.
Tough.
I got Metcalf, and I got DEP, and the bridges were gonna be done, and the council voted to, agreed with all of it. But until we got Metcalf and DEP to talk, I said, we don't talk to one another. I said, we got a flood control that's coming in, and your bridges need to be changed. They got together, and things, we got 2 new bridges down here. And that's what it takes. So you gotta get, I'll say it one more time. We're a commonwealth. The lowest entities have power. This council has power, and they can bring these people in. I used to get beat up because I wrote letters and demanded people to come and be here. But that's what needs to be done, because I hear all kinds of nebulous thought.
You're probably right, because we can't fix the problem with them. They can.
But this is great that what the president brought in, 100, I'm not aware of all these grants that were here. Because I've been out of council,
I
don't know
actually
how
am.
many
In
years.
fact, are these my
20
numbers?
years.
I recall you guys called me in one time, and I went through all this stuff for you. I generated a lot of this. My guess is this is probably.
But honestly, who gave us the money to start on the flood project? Did they expect that amount of money to last 20 years? You know, while it's
Yeah, right,
going on?
everything
Kevin, at
inflates.
the time, that $290,000 was to take care of our share, buyouts and replace utility, relocate this, relocate that, and it got burned up on that one project. That's where it's at.
Well, I say tough. The commitment was the commitment. Once we put on our 22,000 or whatever it was, if that's what you agreed to, you don't put any in anymore and let
Because
it
Jack,
go.
you went to Northwest and had that put in place, correct?
Was that,
You was on finance, you went to Northwest and had that security in place, Jack Keith.
yeah,
Okay. We had our commitments in order.
Well, that's the same.
This is what disturbed me. You can't have bad press like
Well,
this.
you can. Here's what disturbs me. If you agreed to 22,000, why wouldn't you stop at 22,000 or 16, whatever it is? You don't, then they come for more. You say, hey, I had an agreement. That's it. To me, end of story. I met my side of the agreement. Now you meet yours. I wouldn't have put up a cent more if that's what I agreed to. And that's where we're at now. I don't think this council should put up another cent.
We don't have it to.
No, I agree.
No, for crying out loud, we're.
And now they're
taking
not
off the
asking.
fire company because we're looking at
Yes.
ways to
But
cut
if
your-
that was a
And lights,
contract,
yeah.
that 22,000, then you did fulfill your contract.
Right, deal's a deal. So now it's up to them. Don't come asking.
We need that paperwork.
Right, show us the paperwork.
There's a couple boxes in on my counter in there that have stuff in it.
But he's right, if we honored our commitment, then it's
I
all, which it is
agree.
anyway.
I think everything to the flood project is in the mayor's room in that code.
I say, my opinion is, let them
I
have it,
found
let
the
them grow.
paperwork.
Yeah, they're in, there.
Took over another road.
You just can't park the office till they go apart.
Well, see, I found some in the cardboard boxes in my counter right now.
Well, we need the evidence so we can build a case.
I just say, let them have it. We've met our commitment, we're not giving any more
But we
money,
need
knock
evidence to
yourself out.
just prove that what Rivers
I
did
make a
say.
motion that we never discuss the flood project.
I'm with you, yes. Yeah, that's a
Honestly,
great
I'm-
one, yeah.
I'm straightforward, would just love to make a motion that we are done mentioning flood project in any of our meetings. If the county said they were gonna take it, we're done.
Yeah.
This has taken up too much of our time, just like
Look how long we
this
spent.
has in years, you know, falling it back, but that's something else, to me, it's a dead issue.
It is, yeah,
And
I'm
I
with
really
you.
think that it's time that we already voted once that they can do whatever they wanted with
Yes,
it,
so,
but leave our name off the piece of paper.
yes, and leave us out of any negotiations or discussions or whatever. Don't just suck us in is what will happen.
No, they need you.
They
They
need
have
us.
to, because this is your jurisdiction.
We've already given them our permission.
Yeah, we had that piece of paper Mr. Nevling signed that said you guys can do anything you want.
You have that. You have a statement of
Yeah.
of
Well,
what.
That's
Jessica,
I gave it to
yes.
you, Jessica
It's
shared it to
it's
us.
a waiver.
As Mr. Nevling
It's a
said,
waiver.
it says that the borough is completely finished with this, that the county and the state and DEP and all them other guys, now it's their project. The only thing they need to do is when they walk into Coolport to start working, they're to let the borough council know that they're here to do it.
So then,
That's exactly what
so then what Jessica said to me outdoors is correct. She is accountable only to the
No,
county.
that's not what they
The
tell
county
me.
says she works for us.
Yep, that's what they
The
tell me.
county
The county
said that.
says that she is our employee and we can fire her if we want.
Or Jessica doesn't have business while she works.
I think she does.
No, she really believed that she was part of the county.
They-
I was always under the
See,
impression
she was representing, what was it, GIA, Melton?
IGA, or, yeah,
IGA.
yeah.
And then somehow or other, they backed off and she left. And then she was dormant until she started her own company.
Okay, that was for the flood control?
No, I'm not. It's,
Yeah, I have.
Well, are we done with the flood project? Is there anything else on the flood project?
Like I said, I really didn't want to make an issue of this, but the statement that we had a completely incompetent.
Well, I think
council.
that's actually.
That rubbed me, I'm
You
sorry.
know what, I know you hate that, but if you know what we've been through for the last 6 months,
I
it's been
don't
a
care, that
cumulative
is a
effect.
terrible
That's,
statement.
it may be, and
It's
that
a
is,
hell of a
I hate to say
statement.
that, that's my opinion.
You know, Your opinion
We're
doesn't
glad
mean
you,
nothing.
we're
I
glad
don't
you
care if it
came to
does.
correct it.
Pardon?
We're glad you came to correct it, and we invite you back. I'm a citizen committee right now. Really?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you do.
All in favor? Aye. Are we, now, that takes us, are we done with the fireman's issue for the moment? Are we gonna resume that on